Hey, what is up, everybody? Heartbreak last night. Heartbreak. A lot of people tailed my slips yesterday. I did a 5 slip and a 3 slip, both missing by 1. The missed by 1 king is back. Thanks to my lock of the day, EJ Liddell decided to go 4 for 15 from the field and 1 for 5 from 3. So that is a giant bummer. Recapping yesterday, I did a total of 12 picks yesterday, and I went 8 for 4 on them, so not too shabby. Tracy Jackson ended up not hitting on his points. Race Thompson hit in overtime, and Xavier Johnson ended up having kind of a good game, also thanks to overtime. Ohio State lines, EJ Liddell finished with 16, needed 19. Shot 4 for 12 from the field, like I said. He was on the field, he was on the court for over 40 minutes, shot 15 shots. Sometimes with stuff like that happens when players take their shots and they're on the floor and they just miss. That's just the sport of the game. That's just the nature of basketball. Foul trouble, injuries, and just missed shots. That's what happens sometimes. Zed Key went under on his points. The Georgia Tech lines went 2 for 2. Michael Devone got his rebounds. And Jordan Usher didn't even hit 1 3, so that was clutch by Jordan Usher. The Syracuse lines, Buddy, someone told me how to pronounce that yesterday. I don't remember, and I'm not even going to try. Buddy ended up not hitting. He didn't get close. And then Cole Swinder got his rebounds big time. He got 15. He needed 7. The Louisville lines, the only one I liked was Noah Loki's under, and he got 7 in the first half. People were sweating a little bit, but he's coming off the bench. I had a feeling he wasn't going to get that in the second half, and he didn't. He finished with 9. He needed 10. And the North Carolina lines go for 2 for 2. Caleb Love hits with his points on his over 15.5, and Armando Bacot, the big man, ended up getting 17 rebounds, something like that, 16, so he went way over in his rebounds. Let's try to put the right 5 and the right 3 together today. Let's get it. All right, baby, our lock of the day. Not missing today. I'm going with what my gut initially should have told me yesterday, which was to go with Bacot, and I didn't. Today I'm doing it. Over on Jaylin Williams. 9.5 rebounds. He's the 7th best rebounder in the country, playing 30 minutes per game on the season. On the season, his stats are 30 minutes per game, 10.3 points per game, and 9.6 rebounds. He has hit over on his 9.5 rebounds 12 of 27 times. But look at this. In the last 4 games, he has gotten 10 rebounds. Over 10 rebounds the last 4 games. His last 7 games, he's averaging 34 minutes per game and 11.4 rebounds. All right, getting into the rest of the games. JD Note. I'm going to announce these games. Note. I'm going to announce these names again. Once again, so long. Tell me in the comment section how to pronounce them. Some people did yesterday. Okay. JD plays 32 minutes a game. Not too shabby. Averaging 18.5 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, 3.4 assists. They have got a points and assist line for him. Points is set at 17.5. Now, he's only hit in 12 of the last 27. Florida does a pretty good job at stopping opposing team's top scorer. His assist is only hit out of 12 out of 27 times. I'm going to go under on JD Note's 17.5 points simply because, like I said, Florida has pretty good defense against other teams' top scorers. Recently, he hasn't been playing too well. I'm going to go under on JD Note. On to Florida. Colin Castleton, the big man, plays 29 minutes per game, which I said, if big, goofy guys can play about 30 minutes per game, that's pretty good for a big man in the college basketball world. 15.7 points per game, 9.1 rebounds. He has only hit his rebounds in 10 of the last 27 games, of his 27 games this season. Here's the thing, though. His line is set at 8.5 rebounds, and in his last 11 games, he's averaging 8.8 rebounds. So he's been rebounding the ball of late a lot better. Arkansas gives up a lot of rebounds to big guys. I love Colin Castleton's over on his 8.5 rebounds. Trust me on this one. Tyree Appleby only averages 27 minutes per game for a guard. I don't love that, okay? Averaging 10.7 points per game. His line is set at 10.5. Here's the thing. There's 2 ways you can go with Tyree. He hasn't hit his 4 assist mark that he needs to hit. He hasn't hit that in about a month. And the one time he did hit it, it was in an overtime game. So he really hasn't hit it in about a month and a half. So if you wanted to go under on his 4.0 assists, it's not a bad idea. Here's the thing. Tyree Appleby averages 10.7 points per game on the season. His line is set at 10.5 points. At home versus SEC conference opponents, Tyree Appleby turns up, and he averages 13.4 points per game versus home SEC teams. So, history says when he's at home, which he is tonight, versus an SEC opponent, which he is tonight, he tends to perform a lot better. So you can also go over on his 13.4 points. Up next, and the last Florida line, I'm going to butcher it, laugh all you want in the comments. Philandris Fleming. That's what I'm going to go with. He has not hit his points since February 2nd. So it's been a handful of games since he's hit his points. And here's why. He gets the majority of his points from the line. He's about a 77% free throw shooter, which is pretty good for a forward. But this is his shooting splits the last couple of games. 2 for 10, 4 for 11, 3 for 9, 3 for 8, 2 for 11, 2 for 9. You can see he only gets about 4 to 6 points from real field goals. He gets all of his points from the free throw line. So hopefully he doesn't get fouled. But I'm going to go under on his 10.5 points because really he has not been playing very well lately. For under on Philandris Fleming. Next up is Michigan State and Iowa. Not going to lie, I hate the Michigan State lines. And again, I don't watch college basketball religiously, so somebody who maybe is a Michigan State fan in the comments can tell me if this is true or not. They don't have a number one guy. They're one of those weird teams that just plays everybody, the entire 10-man rotation, 9-man rotation, the same amount of minutes, and nobody is the star for this Michigan State team. That's what I got from looking at these team stats, because literally everybody is set like at 7, 8 points. And everybody in the entire roster, there's one player on the roster that plays over 30 minutes. Everyone plays 22 to 25, 28 minutes. So I'm going to just say it right out the gate. I hate these lines. And Michigan State apparently runs, platoon swaps where they bring in 5, bring out 5, is what I'm getting from this. Again, I don't watch Michigan State basketball. Don't watch college basketball religiously. But that's what it looks like from the stats I've seen today. That being said, the only over I like is the starting point guard, Tyson Walker. He only averages 22 minutes a game, only 8 points, 1.3 rebounds, but 4.3 assists, and his assist is set at 3.5 assists. He has gone over on his assist 14 out of 26 games. It seems to be like he's a pretty good facilitator. If he would get any sort of more minutes, he'd crush this line, but he only sits at about 22 minutes a game, but it's the only over I like from the Michigan State lines. And I'm going to rip through these next 3 Michigan State lines pretty quickly because I'm going under on Hauser, Brown, and Christie, all their points, because, like I said, they don't have a dude. I mean, it's just that whoever can get the ball in the basket gets the ball in the basket. I'm assuming they must run a bunch of plays, and just if someone gets open, they score, because literally no one on this team averages more than like 12 points, which is kind of wild to me. Do note that Gabe Brown and Max Christie, they play the more minutes by anybody on the team. But their last couple of games for them have been really bad. Gabe Brown is gone 1 for 7. He's only hit in his last 7 games. He's only hit once for that over points. And Max Christie has only hit once in his last 6 games for over on his points. So the only one that maybe has a chance is Joey Hauser to go over on his points. But everybody else, they really haven't been playing well of late. So I would go under on everybody here. But Joey Hauser is the one that might be able to go over. For the Iowa boys, it's a complete opposite story. These boys like to get buckets in bunches. Here's the good thing about this game. This game is sitting, Iowa-Michigan State, sitting at an over-under of 154. So in a perfect world, like a 77-77 game. They're anticipating a lot of buckets to get scored here. The thing with Michigan State is that it's so evenly dispersed. Like, everybody gets buckets. Like, it's not like one guy goes over the other. Patrick McCaffrey, they've got him set at 10.5 points. He averages 11 on the season, plays about 25 minutes per game, and he's gone over on his points 15 out of 26 games this year for Patrick McCaffrey. He is their second best scoring option behind Keegan Murray. I like his chances. Michigan State struggles to defend talented scoring forwards from looking at their past history versus a couple of good scoring forwards. So Patrick McCaffrey, when Keegan Murray isn't getting buckets, I expect Patrick to go over. And like I said, there's just a lot of points are expected to get scored in this game, so somebody else is going to be getting buckets besides Keegan, and I expect it to be Patrick. Speaking of Keegan Murray, the 4th best scorer in the country, averaging 23.4 points per game. That's important because the 6th or 7th, Kofi Cockburn from Illinois, he's like the 5th or 7th best scorer in the country. He had 27 on them, okay? So I anticipate Keegan Murray to do the same exact thing. He is averaging 23 points per game. His line is set at 22 and a half. He has hit this in 17 of 26 games. In his last 5 games, he's averaging 27.6 points per game. He's on a tear right now. Taking about 16 shots a game, making around 9, and attempting about 6 free throws a game. I anticipate if they weren't able to hold down Kofi, who is one of the top scorers in the country, I don't anticipate them to be able to hold down Keegan. He was going to be my lock of the day. I really was going back and forth between him and Williams. But like I said, he's been on a tear. He's averaging 27 points per game in his last 5. And like I said, Michigan State struggles to stop scoring forwards, and that's exactly what Keegan Murray is. He's a bucket getting forward. I love over on Keegan Murray's points. Things get a little complicated when it comes to Jordan Bohannon, though. This is kind of funny because only plays about 26 minutes per game. Averages 10.7 points. His line is set at 10.5. Here's the wild thing. He's hit the over 14 of 26 games. Here's where it gets funny. He averages 3 threes a game, right? Which is 9 points, okay? Then he averages about 1 trip to the free throw line a game. Almost every single game this year he's gotten to the free throw line at least once. He's an 88% free throw shooter. So most of the time, exactly how his stats go is he hit 3 threes, he'll hit 3 threes, then he'll get to the free throw line once, knock them both down for 11 points. That's almost how it goes every single game for this guy, which is kind of wild. Only reason I'm going over on him, because again, he has to hit those 3 threes in that free throw trip to get over his points. The only reason I'm going over on him is because the score is anticipated to be so high. So because of that, I'm going to go over on 10.5 points for Jordan Bohannon because of the total score. All right, next up is Villanova versus UConn. Big matchup tonight. Massive matchup. Colin Gillespie. I tried to look at a lot of stuff for him. I've got his points on the season set at 16.6, 3.9 rebounds, 2.9 assists. Averages about 33 minutes a game, so he's off the court for about 7 minutes. I don't love that, but I'll take it. He has hit the over on his points 14 out of 27 times. He has hit the over on his rebounds 8 times, but he's pushed 5 times. He also has gotten his assists 16 out of 27 times this year. So statistically, the most time, or the category he hits the most oftentimes is his assists. Here's the thing. When they matched up versus UConn earlier this season, he had 19 points in their last matchup. No reason to think why he can't do that again. My favorite is going to be his over on 2.5 assists, but you guys can go over his points is also not a bad idea to go over on. So over on his points and over on his assists are both lines I like. Justin Moore. This one's a steal. I literally sat and looked at this for like an hour because I was like, why is this one set so low? Why is this one such a steal? He averages 34 minutes a game, so he's only off the floor for like realistically 5 minutes of game time. Averages 15.5 points per game, and they've got his line set at 14.5. He's hit 4 of his last 4 overs and 6 of his last 8 overs. He's hit 18 out of 27 games this year for Justin Moore over on his 14.5 points. This was a steal. I sat there for a good amount of time and I was trying to figure out why they had this so low. UConn isn't like an incredible defensive team or something like that. He even played well in their last matchup. He didn't play in the last matchup, but I don't understand why this is set as it is. This has got to be a steal, got to be a miss in the system somewhere because he's gone over so many more times than he's gone under on this 14.5 points. So this is my steal of the day, Justin Moore over on his 14.5 points. Jermaine Samuels, he's up next, big rebounder, averaging about 6.1 rebounds per game. His line is set at 5.5. He plays 30 minutes per game, which again, like I said, from a big man, I can take that from a big man if they're playing about 30 minutes a game because they'll gobble up about 2 or 3 rebounds about every 5 to 8 minutes. So he has hit 15 out of 27 games. In their last matchup, he had 7 boards. No reason to think that he can't do it again. I like Jermaine Samuels over on his 5.5 rebounds. Now for the UConn lines. RJ Cole. This kid is a bucket getter, okay? Trust me. His freshman and sophomore year in college, he was averaging over 20 points per game. I'm assuming his production's gone a little bit down. Maybe it's because of better depth on the team or something, but he's been a proven bucket getter whenever he wants to be. His line is set at 15.5 points, okay? He's hit that 4 of his last 6 games. He's hit that 14 out of 26 total games played this year. In their last matchup versus Villanova at the beginning of the year, he had 25 points. Here's the big key, okay? I saw a pattern. He averages 16 points per game on the season. His line is set at 15.5. Against AP top 25 teams they've played this year, he shows out in big-time games. 19 points per game, and one of them he only ended up having like 7. So really has had way more, like 22 points per game against top 25 teams. So big matchup tonight versus Nova. Got to win this game tonight to stay in the division or stay in their conference standings and stay at the top. I'm anticipating RJ Cole, who normally plays big time games, to have another big game again tonight versus UConn. I feel like this over 15.5 is easy for him. Let's go over on RJ Cole. I'm going to butcher this guy's name. Adama Sanogo? That's what I'm going with. Stay away from him. Absolutely stay away from him. I was looking at his stats and I was like, why is some games he playing 30 minutes per game, some games he's playing 14 minutes per game? He gets in so much foul trouble. He averages 3 fouls a game, which is kind of a lot of fouls. He hasn't fouled out of any games, but the amount of games this year where he had 4 fouls was insane. And in those games when he gets in foul trouble, he just doesn't get the stats. In games where he does get the stats, though, or doesn't get in foul trouble, he does butcher the stats. I'm going to just say stay away from him. If you guys want to go under on him, last game he got in foul trouble. So I would go under on his points if you're going to go under on anything. Under on 14.5 points would be the best bet. But I'm saying, again, he gets in foul trouble. When he does get in foul trouble, he doesn't get there. When he doesn't get in foul trouble, he does get it. So stay away from Adama. And our last bet of the day, Tyrese Martin. Again, another steal. He averages 31 minutes per game, averaging 13.6 points per game on the season. He has hit his points per game, that mark, 15 out of 22 games this year. He's had some injury trouble this year, but when he's on the floor, he gets buckets. In these games where he was going over that 12.5 points line, he was going over it big time, like way over. Injuries have kind of stopped his season, though. He's had injuries off and on. As I was doing my research, though, they had him set at 12.5. They now have him set at 13.5. I'm sure because they realize he's kind of been playing well of late when he hasn't been injured. So, still like it, though. Over on Tyrese Martin, over 13.5 points. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that leads us to your guys' favorite part of the day, my favorite part of the day, my top 5 favorite picks of the day. Let's get it. Starting out, number 1, it's got to be our lock of the day. The 7th best rebounder in the country. Give it to me, Arkansas's Jaylin Williams is going to be in at number 1, over 9.5 rebounds. Coming in at number 2 is going to be the fourth or third best scorer in the country, Keegan Murray, over 22.5 points. Michigan State struggles to stop scoring forwards. Keegan Murray is the best in the business. Let's get it. Over on Keegan Murray. Coming in at number 3 and number 4, give me the UConn guards. These experienced UConn guards put up buckets in big-time games and big-time moments. RJ Cole, I love him, over 15.5 points. And Tyrese Martin, I love him, over 13.5 points. Let those UConn guards eat. And rounding out the list at number 5, give me Justin Moore, over on his 14.5 points. He's hit 4 for his last 4, 6 for his last 8. 18 out of 26 games he's hit. It's our steal of the day. You gotta go over on Justin Moore. He's gonna round out my top 5 list, and a solid top 5 list, bro. We're getting that money tonight. Let's get it. Alright, guys, that's gonna be the end of today's video. Last day of college basketball. Some people might be sad. Oh, you know what it is. I tried to give the college basketball world a roll. It's a lot harder to manage 100 and something teams compared to 30 teams. So yeah, today's gonna be our last day of college basketball. Tomorrow, thank the Lord, NBA's back. I was on a mad roll with NBA before they went on the All-Star break, and I anticipate to get right back on that roll and continue to hit like crazy. Tomorrow we're gonna come in with those NBA picks. But for today, let's focus on today. Let's slap these college lines for the last time in the season. Might throw some more in throughout the rest of the year, especially March Madness comes. But let's get this money tonight, and then we'll worry about tomorrow, huh? Let's get this money tonight, though. Let's get it.